Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're at Sills Motor Sales. I have my beautiful 2023 BMW M1000RR, which by now you guys should recognize as one of the most beautiful M1000s in the galaxy, if not the most beautiful M1000RR. Well, today, Zach the Master Mechanic is going to install Bren Tuning Velocity stacks and a Sprint air filter into that outstanding machine. We hope that when it's all done, that bike will make more power and it'll come close to the power found in my Panigale V4R. Those two bikes are separated right now by 12 horsepower, and we want to lessen that gap. So keep watching, but for right now, let's get Zach onto that machine. Okay, Zach, we got that beautiful M1000RR on your bench. What the heck are we doing?
That we do. I'm just staring at this carbon fiber gas tank. It's really cool.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It really looks awesome in person.
Yeah.
No, so we're gonna take it back off and we're gonna get into the airbox and we're gonna hopefully close the gap between this and your V4R power-wise.
Oh, nice.
We're gonna put some velocity stacks from Bren Tuning in it, get rid of the intake flappers, and update the tune and see if maybe we can get another 5 horsepower out of this. So that would be great.
Okay, because what we've discovered, Zach, on 3 different dynos, they all have 3 different numbers, but there is one consistency, and that is the M1000 is 12 horsepower less than the V4R on all 3 dynos.
Oh, that's kind of cool information to have. And
yes.
Yeah, so going off of that 12 horsepower, yeah, if we could shrink that in half, that'd be great. Ooh. 6 horsepower?
Yeah.
That put them a lot closer together.
Yes.
But that does also make sense. I would say that's about what the V4R feels faster.
Yeah.
And
from your butt dyno?
Yeah, from the butt dyno. And the extra RPM. It just feels like it pulls that much harder, that much longer compared to this bike. So yeah, what did we save? 1.5 pounds with this fuel tank, I believe?
Yes, 1.5 pounds. And we gained a lot on the looks department, for sure.
Gained a lot on the looks department, but saved 1.5 pounds, so that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Once we get that subframe, that saves massive weight.
Yes, it does.
So, I don't know what's the V4R weigh?
415 pounds with a full tank of fuel.
All right.
And this is like what?
I think we can get to 412.
With this bike? Wow.
With this bike.
Yeah.
Because I think we've taken a regular S1000 to 412 before.
Yeah.
So I think with this, and it was one that had a subframe. Mm-hmm. And carbon wheels.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't have the carbon tank. So I think we should be able to get to 412 with a full tank. So maybe if we decrease that horsepower gap and weight, this bike could keep up then, huh?
Absolutely.
Hopefully. All right, so we made it to our airbox. Got our e-gas throttle unplugged so we can move this out of the way. A couple of screws, and we move the whole wire harness out of the way so we can get the fuel injectors out. This plug right here is what I was talking about before for your stepper motor.
Yeah.
So you can see it's kind of easy, especially when this is here, you can't really see it. It's easy to forget to plug in.
Yeah.
So make sure if you go in to change your, it's pretty much only if you're deleting the air flappers or putting velocity stacks in that you get that plug back in. And this is our air temp sensor, which is supposedly ridiculously hard to move on this bike, so we're not going to move it currently. Okay. Maybe if we get real bored and we go in and change that nose piece, maybe at that time we'll move it, but
yeah, okay.
Right now, we're just going to leave it. And that's not really a power adder, that's a power keeper on a hot day.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal if we do it or not. So now the M airbox is the same as the 2023 S1000 airbox, no changes. Previous though, if you have a bike before 23, the M airbox does make some more horsepower over the stock airbox of 20 to 22s.
All right, good to know.
So yeah, as you can see, we still got the white velocity stacks. And these are what move up and down. That's what this stepper motor here controls. Okay. You can see it would spin this and then raise and lower these. But what we're gonna change is this bottom part that's rubber here. Changing the shape and height of this is what changes our power when these come down to it. So we'll change them in a minute, but first we're gonna get rid of the intake flaps. You can see they're held open currently due to the Bren Tune file. Yeah, so if you see how it looks now, we got these 2 doors, I would call them, in the middle here. We'll get rid of them so that it'll have a larger space to flow air, and we'll lose the weight of a stepper motor.
Nice.
All right. So, I mean, see what this feels like now.
Yeah.
I guess I could grab the postage scale, we could weigh it. So with nothing in it, it gets down to about 1 pound, but we do have to add a couple block off plates. So probably only gonna be about a 1/2 pound savings. Oh well.
Yeah, nice try.
which you can purchase on their website or from Moto Million.
Yes.
You get this plate that's going to cover up these 2 holes, and then we get some plugs for the holes back here, and then they also plug up this drain hole.
Nice.
So not very difficult to install. So now our plenum is ready to go back on. We're still hanging out right at about a pound.
Yep.
So we
we lost a half
a pound.
Nice.
Yeah, and you can see how much more open it is.
Yes.
I have cut these out of other intake tracks before too, but I can't tell if it helps or not, and it's actually kind of a pain, so
Yeah.
we'll leave it. If we wind up needing 1 horsepower or something, we'll give it a shot.
Okay.
So now we also don't have to plug this wire in. I usually just zip tie it back with these other wires here. And this is a straight path. If you look, well, the frame's in the way, but if you look through, that's your intake track. So steering head, our steering head support is in the way,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I suppose maybe if you knife edge that or something, it could be good for some more power too. I don't know. Oh yeah, I found that spraying a little silicone on these tabs helps it go back together a bit easier. And you want to watch, this is actually rubber and it sits against that frame.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure it doesn't get pinched funny. You can't really tell until you take it back apart, but I noticed that some of the ones I did even wind up sitting funny. Perfect. These screws go at a funny angle, so you definitely want to start them by hand.
Okay.
They don't go at the angle you think they would. I don't know if you can see how angled my tool is.
Yeah.
It's not straight, and it's real easy. If you were to just start this with a drill, you could easily strip it out, and then that'd be a pain to fix. Guess we should probably take a peek at our intake valves while we were this far apart, huh?
Yeah.
See what they look like. Should be nice and clean in there still. Oh yeah, nothing on the valves. Maybe you can catch this middle one.
Yeah.
So you can see the nice porting that the M cylinder head has, all that swirling in the intake track there. It's a little blurry.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, there's it.
Yeah.
There it is. Those valves are actually open. Yeah, you can't see it on the camera though. So if you have, I would say probably more a 22, a 21 or 22 S1000. If you look right here, Ebe, on top of this. So your starter gears are under here, and this is where the breather hose from the engine goes back into the airbox.
Yep.
There's an O-ring that goes around this plastic tube. I've seen that O-ring being chafed from the factory, and it takes about 2,000 or 3,000 miles, but then you'll notice that like an oil leak is showing up on the side of your motor. It's because this galley in here fills up with the oil that it leaks. It's not a real bad leak, it's a slow leak.
Yeah.
And then it takes a long time to work its way out. But if you have an oil leak on an S1000, you can't figure out where it's coming from, you might look in there with a flashlight and see if that looks all oily, and if it is, I think you have to buy the whole piece. I don't think you get the O-ring, but you take it to a dealer, it should be under warranty. But that could be your problem. And you can change this with the engine and the frame. There is a screw that looks like it's impossible to get out from underneath the throttle body.
Yeah.
You can get it. You might need a little short socket, but you'll get it. Another quick tip, if you have a new bike and it keeps stalling and you've taken it to the dealer and they've run it and it has no fault codes and they don't want to fix it because they can't figure it out, you may go in again with a flashlight or something and make sure these hoses are connected. Actually on Ebe's bike here, his bike kept stalling. It just didn't idle right.
Yep.
Sometimes it had a cruise control. It would just hang at 4,000 RPM.
Yeah.
It was driving us crazy. It seemed like an air leak, and sure enough, it was. Not one of these 4 hoses was connected from the factory.
Wow.
So plug them in, and then your bike idled like it was supposed to.
Yes.
Up next, we will, performance-wise, put the velocity stacks in the airbox. So here's our shape difference.
Oh yeah.
You can see maybe like the width, the height is what we're looking at. It's a little bit taller. More so though, I think it's how fast this turns in
Yeah.
as compared to like how slow and gradual this is. It shoves the air and carries a little more speed. So now, hopefully, this fits right in. What do you think? Put the blue ones on the outside, red ones in the center, go red, blue, red, blue? What do you want to do?
Red, blue, red, blue.
All right, we'll go that. So we want this to be a nice tight fit. Honestly, even if we had to make this a little bit harder or it's real hard to get in, that would be fine with me, which seems to be the case, so that's good. Okay, we don't want it to be impossible though.
Right.
Try sitting here maybe. There we go.
I like that sound.
I like that sound
Yeah.
too. That is a really nice fit. And then once we put this metal clip on, hopefully so this one side moves just a very little bit, but if this moved a lot, they would, I don't think I have any, so hopefully these don't want to meet it. Bren has a real tiny O-ring that would take up any space so that this doesn't wind up moving. All right, so we got the velocity stacks installed, alternating colors.
Yes.
Looks pretty trick. Whenever you change your air filter, you can get a peek at it. Nothing you do very often, but
No.
I can look at it.
Okay.
Goes back on just like it came off. Only other thing we want to check is when this is seated on the throttle bodies, which it just did, it should be a nice tight fit like that.
Okay.
The other ones were a lot looser as well, so
There we have it.
there we have it. Velocity stacks installed. Got to put a couple screws back in, and then we'll be installing our Sprint air filter as well. All right, so we got the new velocity stacks and air filter installed and removed the intake flaps.
Yeah.
Saved a half a pound.
Yep.
Whatever. Hopefully make some horsepower. Let's see if it sounds any different.
Yeah.
And you'll have to go back to the dyno and see if we can
Yeah.
check that gap.
Let's do it.
All right, cool.
Thanks, man.
Catch you next time.
All right, guys, let's continue enjoying the view of this amazing M1000RR. We still have the carbon fiber full 6 subframe coming real soon, so keep watching these videos, guys. Thanks for viewing.